Hi, thank you for joining us for this reading and productivity sprint. As you can see, I'm by myself for a change. I've got some friends who may be joining in a little bit later, but for now you just have me. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm planning to read and do during the sprint. And I also really want to talk about what I'm watching because I'm obsessed with something on Netflix at the moment. You can probably guess what that is. So let me know in the comments if you're watching, reading, writing, anything fun at the moment. Let me know what you're planning to do in the sprints, and I will first off tell you what I am planning to read. So I've just started Game Over Girl by Naomi Gibson. I absolutely loved Every Line of You, her debut, which came out last year. This book is due to come out in January, and it just sounds absolutely brilliant. I'm going to read to the blurb quickly. So Lola's been selected to play a new virtual reality game, Better Than Life. In the game, she's loved and beautiful. She can do whatever she wants, but she quickly breaks the one rule not to recreate people or places from real life. She recreates her house and a boy she fancies. Soon she's skipping school to play. But Lola has secrets, dark ones that begin to surface inside her game. And the more she tries to fix her problems, the more she overlooks a much bigger threat. It sounds so brilliant. I love Naomi's writing. She writes really tense, twisty thrillers, often with a sci-fi slant and some romance in there. In the case of Every Line of You, I don't know whether this one is romantic or not. Maybe the blurb alludes to it a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I am planning to write. I'm hoping to finish a book by the end of 2022. I think I'm at about 55,000 words, and I'm just in the process of editing it before I write the ending. So hopefully I'm on track to get that finished. I'm just going to go to a couple of comments that I've spotted popping up, and then I'm going to talk to you about the TV show that I want to talk about. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for joining us if you are here. Hi. Oh, I'm sorry that you are in a reading slump. Okay, well, watching something sounds like a good use of your time. Let me know if you want some recommendations, if you've got a few books you might want to get to later. Yes, okay, I've heard good things about that one. I think, is that a middle grade book? So yeah, definitely give that one a go. I think it was Kasha that had put that on her TBR. I don't know whether she's actually ready yet. I think it might have been on her TBR for this month or last. Hi, Reka, thank you for joining us. I'd love to know what you are planning to read or what you're planning to do in the sprints. Anybody who is already here. The thing I want to talk about that's on TV, I don't know if anybody has watched Wednesday yet. I think I'm a little bit late to the game and that I haven't quite finished it, so no spoilers, please. But I just wanted to chat about it a bit. If anybody has watched it, I'd love to know what you think, because I was really pleasantly surprised whenever there's a remake or something like that, or a follow-on from something that I loved from the past. I'm always a little bit cynical because obviously it has to be just as good as the original thing, if not better. And actually, I think with Wednesday, they've done a terrific job. Obviously, Tim Burton's attached to it. And I think the aesthetics that he's brought to things like Nightmare Before Christmas that I love and Beetlejuice are also in Wednesday, but I think the plot and the cast are great. So it's really nice to end the year with a TV show that I've loved, because I've tried to think of other stuff I've been obsessed with this year. I think mainly I've been too busy with writing to watch much. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Wednesday. So if you have watched it, let me know in the comments what you think. If you haven't and you're into sort of gothic murder mysteries, boarding school settings, I would highly recommend it. Just going to jump to a couple more comments. Oh, okay. Oh, it might be you actually that was talking about reading. Sorry, Lizzie, my memory. Not what it should be. It also could be Kasha, I think. Yeah, I think I remember you now saying actually that you'd really enjoyed the book so far. I really need to read that one. I think, is that the second book in the series? I enjoyed the first one. I can't remember the name of it, Rick. Maybe you can tell us. It's not my usual sort of thing, the kind of romance, paranormal, fantasy, but I really liked that one. Oh, sorry, the comments are jumping on me. Hi, Caroline. Thank you for joining us. That sounds fun. I'm looking for more adult recommendations, so I might have to try and get that one for next month. Do you think I would like it, Caroline, is the question. Yes, thank you. So good. I'm sure there will be a season 2 announcement. It just seems to have been absolutely everywhere. So I'm crossing my fingers. I'm glad you liked it too. Maybe I'll have to DM about what specifically you think, because I've got so many theories. I'm really interested to know whether I'm right or not about who's committing the things that are happening in the series. So yeah, anybody who hasn't let us know what you're reading, please do. Obviously, there's nobody for me to chat to, so I'm going to go to a sprint in a moment. But I'll just let you know how it's going to go tonight. I'm planning to do about 2 40-minute sprints as usual, and then maybe a half an hour on to finish, during which I'll probably watch some Wednesday. I'm planning to mostly edit and then do a bit of reading of this brilliant book, which I've just started if I get any time at the end of each sprint. So we should be finishing at about 10 o'clock. And yeah, it's pretty chilled. If you want to pop in and out, read or not read, it's completely up to you. I think I've just got one more comment and then we will probably go to the sprint. Oh, I'm sorry your friend spoiled it. That's the worst. This whole TV show is that I've not finished because I've been told the ending. I'm glad you're still enjoying it though. I hope it hasn't ruined it too much being told the ending. So far, I've done really well. I'm hoping I might finish it tonight, so I'll get through it unspoiled. I'm just going to mark that last comment so I don't get lost. So we are going to do a 40-minute sprint to begin with. As I mentioned, I am using Pomodoro Kitty, so fair warning. It will meow in 40 minutes time. I'll see you on the other side. Let us know in the meantime what you have been getting up to. everyone. I am just going to add Lizzie to the stream. Hi.
Hello.
Did now. Oh, I thought I'd remove the key. Hang on, I'll remove the kitty so you can see us properly. How are you?
I'm good. I was very cold, but I've actually found out that my reading corner is the warmest place in my room because it's right next to the radiator, and I made myself a strawberry and lemon hot tea in my pumpkin mug because although I have the slightest Christmas decorations behind me, I also refuse for spooky season to be over, so it's in my pumpkin mug.
Obviously, I just had a pumpkin delivered today to my mum's house, and she was like, "Why have you ordered a pumpkin from the Disney shop in December? It was on sale. I couldn't help it. It's going to go on my shelves and be there year round." But she does not understand. So I managed to get some editing done. I'm quite proud of myself. I've spent the last 3 days realizing that I'd made a bit of an error with my manuscript that I'm working on and having to go back and unpick. My timeline is a bit complicated in the thing I'm working on. And I'd made a bit of a mess. So what I thought I'd sorted, I had to go back and resort, but I'm finally digging myself out of it. Have you done much writing recently?
No, not ever since my writing software screwed me over for Nano. I've just lost all confidence on any software. To be honest, I've not been doing a lot of anything. Hannah went back to her parents' house like 2 weeks ago, and she's going to be gone for 6 weeks. And I'm going to my parents' house in like a week. And I've just kind of like done nothing. I've just been like a little ball of like, I'm cold and I'm on my own and I don't have to do anything. So yeah, I want to, but I'm also just like in the evenings, I'm so tired. Like I had a nap, like I finished work at 4:30 and I had a nap until about 6 o'clock. And like I didn't mean to, it just sort of happened because I burritoed myself in bed because I was that cold. And then I was watching something on YouTube and I woke up like 2 hours later, like on a completely different video. And I thought, oh no.
See, this can't happen when you have a toddler who'd be like jumping on my head at that point. But I kind of like the idea of having a nap during the day. I'm like going to build up to that point of my life. I'm sure it'll come back again at some point. Maybe nap with him. I don't know. I've got a couple of comments, so I'm just going to go to those, then chat to Lizzie about what you're planning to do. So be prepared. Oh, okay, yeah. So the ballad of which I've instantly forgotten the name of. Lizzie, can you remember it?
Ballad of Never After.
Yeah, that sounds right. And my brain was saying Never Letting Go. I think that's a different thing. Excellent. I do need to get hold of the sequel because I really liked the first book, but
yeah, I didn't really like Caraval. I read the first Caraval, and it was just like another YA. Like it was just another YA fantasy, and I'd heard so many things about it. I was kind of really disappointed because I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And I think it was just overhyped. So then I never continued the series. And like, I don't know because I've got the Fairy edition of Once Upon a Broken Heart. And I'm like, do I try it? I don't know.
It has quite a similar feel, I think. I don't know whether it's YA or adult, but it feels a bit more adult to me, that one. Because I read Midnight in Everwood at a similar time and it kind of had a similar atmosphere to that. Maybe not the same time of year, but the same type of like romance and heightened emotions and stuff. Just going to keep going. Yeah, so we were talking about Wednesday. I don't know whether you saw before you came on. Have you watched it?
No, it's on my to watch list. It's in.
I think you'll love it.
I love the Addams Family, so I'm really excited. Like the original Addams Family, you know, like the but I'm very excited to watch Wednesday. I've heard so many things about it, and it's just on my list because I've also got Cabinet of Curiosities I've still got to watch.
Yes, me
like,
too.
Those two are like my main series that I need to like get to. But yeah, I've been watching like really stupid Hallmark Christmas movies every night. I've been watching at least one.
That sounds good. We normally do. Like normally work through particularly the Melissa Joan Hart Christmas movies, and I've just not had a chance yet because we've been watching Wednesday, and I get about an hour of TV a day. So at the moment, it's dedicated to Wednesday until I finish that. But yeah, I totally agree, Caroline. I feel like I could have like made Wednesday last a bit, but I'm just scared that somebody's going to tell me because it's kind of a murder mystery format. I'm scared somebody's going to spoil it because Reika was saying earlier that somebody spoiled the ending for her. How mean is that? Like a friend telling you the ending is just not.
I hate that. I think I've seen one scene on TikTok, which I didn't quite put two and two together that it was from Wednesday. Okay. I think I've seen one scene, and I'm not going to say anything because I have no idea where it is in the show, but it wasn't like a huge spoiler. I was like, oh no, that's cool. And that's kind of all I thought. And I've seen a few bits of like how they filmed the hand. I was like, that's super cool. I love that. It's really like one awkward pose for that guy to get into half the time, but also congrats to him, you know?
It's very old school. I think that's what I like. It feels like a kind of, you know, the well, like the Beetlejuice type Tim Burton things like from back in the day. I just really like it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to a couple more comments popping up. Hi, Han. Thank you for joining us. I love Reluctant Immortals. So good. And I'm excited about, is this the book that you mentioned, Han, that you were planning to work on? I don't know whether you want to tell us a little bit about it, but feel free. Yeah, I mean, reading a vampire book, I don't know, like, does it make me? I think when I'm reading a ghost book, I'm more of a kind of looking over my shoulder person. Yeah, I think reading a vampire book, I tend to be more like engrossed, but yeah.
I've just got Reluctant Immortals. Hannah does her subscription box every month, and Reluctant Immortals was one of the ones that she did I get. And I read the back, and I was like, that is like, even if I don't have it as my surprise book or my book that I pick, I'm gonna buy that anyway because that sounds amazing. I love the idea of reclaiming your story and add vampires. Like, yes, please.
It's just really cool. It's really atmospheric. It's got this kind of melancholy about it that I'm not always a fan of, but Gwendolyn Kiss just does it so beautifully. And I think it suits that situation, the characters who've lived for so long. It just seems really believable. And the vampire mythology in it is absolutely brilliant as well. She's like added her own extra bits on that fit really well. And I interviewed her a while ago on my channel, and she's also like super smart and knowledgeable about vampires. And I really like that. She obviously knows her stuff. Like she wasn't just kind of making guesses, like she knows the material really well, so I don't feel too put out that she got to the idea before I even contemplated it, because it's just so good, isn't it? Like take a character from Jane Eyre, take one from Dracula, who didn't get much of a story, and they get their own book and they're friends. It's great. Okay, yeah, I mean, I've read Caraval. I enjoyed it. I can't remember much about it because it was so long ago, so I can't really compare the two, but yeah, I did enjoy the new ones. Yeah, I know. I'm so convinced generally that stuff is CGI now, so it's really cool to find out that something isn't. Oh, excellent. That's really cool. Yes,
I haven't read
already.
Yet, I keep on.
I really enjoyed it. I read it when we went to Whitby because I wanted to read something vampire that was short and gothic, and yeah, really good. I actually probably almost liked it as much as Dracula, which is very high praise coming from me.
I keep on putting it on my TBR. I don't know why. I just can't. I haven't been getting to it. I just, every time I go to pick it up, something happens and I don't.
I think that's the story of my whole life, that I think. Thank you. I think did you send me that one, Rake, or did somebody else? I have been sent a couple of those, which is very nice. I like the fact that people think that my book has anything in common with Wednesday. Yeah, ghost stories definitely make me feel very nervous, particularly ones by Darcy Coates. I don't know. Have you read any Darcy Coates? I think we've had this conversation, Lizzie. Did you say you were thinking of picking some up?
I think, yeah, I am. I added a load to my list, but I haven't got to them yet. I'm so behind on so many authors, though. Like, genuinely, every time I hear of a new author, I'm like, yes, add everything.
It's just impossible. I mean, I'm now at the point where I'm trying to be zen about it because I've kind of got my TBR for the next couple of months, the things I'd like to read, and there's about 70 books, and I'm just like,
oh my god,
it's not going to happen. So I'm just trying to be chilled about it and just chipping away at it one book at a time. It's all fine. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Dustin. We are going to be going sprints very quickly, so you haven't missed too much, literally in the next minute or two, so stay with us for a little bit. So Lizzie, are you planning to read or write or chill during this? I'm guessing not write unless I've convinced you otherwise.
No, I'm not gonna write. I am gonna read, but so I have a stack of books right there.
A proper stack, not just like a, yeah.
Which is my TBR for December. But I am just gonna start The Haunting of Evelyn Jones because it's middle grade, it's easy. I haven't been in a reading mood. This is Hannah's copy, but she left it here and she said I could borrow it. I just feel like this will be a nice ease back into like reading properly because I just haven't been in the mood to read. I've literally just been watching movies and not doing very much.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think I'm kind of past the feeling stressed if I'm not reading. Like if I feel like reading a lot, I do. I generally do. But if I don't feel like reading a lot or I'm too busy, I also try not to get cross with myself. Yes, you haven't missed it. Don't worry. So I'm planning to continue editing. I'm feeling quite happy about my editing now and not like I'm banging my head against a brick wall. And I've
Good.
also just started Game Over Girls. So if I'm good in the sprint and I don't just sit on TikTok like I did a little bit during the last one, I'm going to treat myself with a bit of this. It's really good so far. It's about a girl who creates a virtual reality world that she's like trialing, and she's meant to follow the rules and not incorporate elements of her life into it. And of course she does, and things start going wrong. So yeah, it's very good so far. And I think maybe unreliable narrator from what I've heard online about it. So I'm all ready to not trust everybody and stuff. So brilliant. I think I'm going to mark where we got up to in the comments. I am going to get the kitty ready. We will do, I think, another 40-minute one, and then I'll probably do a 30-minute one to end. So I'll catch you, Lizzie, and everybody else on the other side. Let us know in the comments what you get up to during this. Hello. How did you get on, Lizzie?
I love these books. I'm 140 pages in because they're really easy. They're like illustrated.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
yeah, it's really good because each of these, this is book 3, are like based on like a supernatural thing. So the first one was ghosts, the second one is witches, and this one's fairies.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
and the first one is based in the summer. No, Halloween. Halloween. The second one is in the summer, and then this is a kind of like Christmassy one.
Okay, that's cool.
In late December. And it's just like going through a load of like fairy myths. And it's really, really good. And it talks about like the barrows, like the long barrows, which are like real things as well. So I just really like that it brings in like local folklore. I just think it's a really nice, good, spooky middle grade series. Phil Hicks is fantastic, and it's all based down in like the southwest and where I grew up. They're made up places. I think I want to look up the location for this one because I don't know if it is made up or not. It could be either, because I know the original one was like the first book. It's a made up town, but it's based near Bristol. So, and like this one is based near Cheltenham, but it's not in Cheltenham. It's like another little offshoot village, which could exist. I don't know all the little villages, but no,
They
it's just
sound really good. I think it's already on my list, the first one. But yeah, I definitely need to get to those soon.
such a good middle grade spooky series. Like, I can't recommend these enough. They're so fantastic, and they're such a quick read. Because I mean, like, the writing isn't small; it's illustrated, and it's just lovely. The first book, I got really freaked out though, because there's really spooky drawings in that one of like these what they call scarecrows with like pumpkin heads and stuff, and like it's based near the sea, and like so they use like buoys as like the heads and stuff, and like some of the drawings of those scarecrows, I was like, absolutely not, no way, no.
That just makes me want to read it more. I'm up for that. I'm happy to be scared by scarecrows. I'm just going to jump into the comments because I've just spotted something about Dracula. So let me see. Oh, yeah, Raker's talking about oh, is it Dracul? I think I have that, but I haven't actually read it. I've read Dracula's Child, which is a sequel written more recently. But yeah, I think I've got Dracul, but I haven't read it, so you'll have to let me know what that is like. Oh, sorry, I think I'm on the wrong comment. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. I probably need to prioritize that one because, you know, as I mentioned, I absolutely love Dracula. Awesome. I haven't read that one. Have you read that, Lizzie?
It's so good. I've listened to all of the audiobooks for that The Wayward Children series, and that's book 1. And it's a portal fantasy that feels very different from other portal fantasies I've read. And because they're novellas, they're like 200 pages, and like the audiobook is like 4 hours. And because I read audiobooks in 2 times speed, it's like a couple of hours. And when I was living in Cornwall and working for a supermarket, I used to listen to them as I commuted to work on like an evening, like and back and forth. And because I didn't like finish until like 11:30 at night, I used to read it as I was driving home at night. And it's just such a lovely story, and it's about acceptance and how being different is celebrated, and also just like using your imagination. And it's basically about a group of kids who have all found like a portal world, like an Alice in Wonderland world, but it's like different for each kid. And it's just fantastic. It's lovely. I definitely recommend the Wayward Children series to anyone.
Sounds very cute.
Yeah,
I'm going to add it to my list. That's definitely the one that's come out tonight. Well done, Dustin. Sorry about the technical issues, but making a start. Honestly, how I've written every single book, all 2 of them, is just literally a few hundred words at a time and repeat, 10,000 times or whatever, because I just don't have any time for writing. So I have to squeeze it in evenings like this. So yeah, I totally agree with this. Some words are better than no words. That is literally the only way you're ever going to get through it. I edited a couple of chapters tonight, and I'm now back on track with my timeline making sense again. So tomorrow I'm going to try and do a little bit more work on that in the evening, but I think I've just about got back to where I was a few days ago. Never mind. Not too bitter about it. I think I've caught up on the comments, and I can feel myself getting tired and waffly. So I think I'm going to call it quits for the writing. I'm going to do a backup because, Lizzie's already mentioned the backing up trauma, and I just need to back up what I've done tonight because I've unpicked so many things as well. If I if I lose this now, I'm going to not remember why I've unpicked. So I think I'm going to do back up and then watch some Wednesday. So are you going to carry on reading your book?
Yeah, I'm going to try and finish it because I've only got like 110 pages left.
Oh,
I
awesome.
think I will 100% be able to do it in the 30 minutes. Because the ending of these books are always super quick and, you know, fast paced. But yeah, no, I definitely want to continue reading this. And then I have read a book this month. This will be my first book.
Well, I'm very glad of that, of the small part that we played in that on these sprints. As I'm talking to you, I'm just trying to remember how to change the kitty over. What's that?
I'm listening to a Lord of the Rings ambience.
Oh, nice.
Which is my favorite ambient room. And it's got Gandalf singing in it as well. So it's just like a really nice, like, because I'm in an empty house and like sometimes, and because I've got the heating on, it creaks in like a weird way and I get really spooked. And this isn't helping with me getting spooked. Because I hear like any creak and I'm like, oh my God, someone's in the house. And our walls are really thin. So our neighbors going up and down the stairs makes me think there's someone in the house. Like my the office I share with Hannah is all the way on the 3rd floor. So I'm up there and like when people come home, I'm like, oh my God, I just every now and again I'm like no, it's fine. You're freaking yourself out. You're scaring yourself. Stop it.
And yet you keep reading all the horror. You're doing it to yourself. I've got
Yeah.
some sympathy, very little though.
I love horror and I love being scared until I remember that I'm an actual wimp and that if anyone actually was in the house, I just know that I'd have to resign myself to the fact that I would be the one that would not fight back. I'd be like, okay, fine, whatever.
People always ask me that, like, do you think you'd successfully survive a horror movie? And I'm like, nope. I'm the girl who gets killed at the beginning, probably.
To be fair, I have thought about this though. I've got ordinary monsters next to my bed. And I think I could do some damage if I whacked someone over the head with that book. So actually, I might be in with a better shot than I think. But also, I'm just like, if a zombie apocalypse happened, I wouldn't try. I'd be like, I'm too tired for this.
I'd probably have a toddler in the bed with me. I don't think that'd be particularly. It'd be a surprise, wouldn't it, for anybody coming into the room, like 2 adults and a small human? But yeah, I don't think that'd be particularly useful. That's great, Dustin. Learning about your characters and world building. I think sometimes I do that far too late into a draft. So if you're doing that now when it's early on, then that is a good thing. Right, I'm going to mark that as last comment because I think we need to do this last sprint. Lizzie needs to finish her book. I need to do my backup and then watch some Wednesday, equally productive.
How far into Wednesday are you?
Nearly finished. So I think I'm maybe on episode 7. Looking at my husband, he's not listening. Episode 7. So we might get it finished tonight. He's editing one of my videos at the same time. I wasn't sure if he could hear me. Okay, so we will go to the sprint and catch up at the end, and hopefully Lizzie can tell us about the book she has just finished. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, how did you get on?
I finished.
Hey, well done.
It's one of those books, and it's the same with the other two in the series. That it's like a one-sitting kind of book where
Yeah.
you kind of get drawn into the story really, really quickly.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
it just is unputdownable. But like, it's definitely a really spooky, like kind of cozy middle grade because like the stakes are there, but you kind of know that they're gonna get out of it okay because Evelyn, as a protagonist, is very like on the ball. And I really enjoyed this one. There was some spooky bits. Because her basically the basic premise is her uncle went missing 10 years ago without any like trace. And her aunt and her mother have decided that they're going to sell his house, like get all his possessions and stuff, and put the house on the market. And Evelyn and her best friend Harold, who's been in the other two books, and they brought this friendship up, have gone because they want to find out what happened to Evelyn's uncle. Like they're like, I'm in it for the mystery as always. I'm going to use all my supernatural knowledge. And then they go on this train journey and they find like some spooky. There's this like blogger, and he wrote a spooky blog spot. I think it's his like handle, and he has written about the long barrow that's in their town, and like all of the local legends. And so they hear about that and they're like, ooh, a clue. And then it's kind of like the weird stuff that happens in the house. And then they learn about the Fae, and like how dangerous they are. And they're not, and like they say, like, oh, they're not all like Tinkerbell, they can look like people too. And like more shenanigans happens. And then you find out how the kids basically get over all these hurdles. And it's lovely. It's full of hot chocolate. Like they have loads and loads of hot chocolate. They talk about snow. It's cold. So it's definitely a wintry read, but it's not in the realm of like, it is spooky. There are some seriously spooky bits. Like her uncle has done some audio recordings of like him doing seances and stuff. So there are some genuinely creepy bits in here. But like I would happily give this series to my nephew who's 6. Like happily. And like I would say like, oh, read this during the day kind of thing, because I don't want to give them nightmares, and that could happen because 6 is still pretty young. But they're just so good. The writing is phenomenal, and like even like as an adult, I'm just like, oh, I love the mystery. I want to find her uncle too. I want to know what's happening. And I love that Phil Hicks also commits to actual supernatural things. Like he doesn't shy away. He doesn't try and like make a scientific, real world explanation. He's like, nah, I'm gonna put all the supernatural stuff in, and I love that so much. So
They sound awesome. Is that the most recent one then?
yeah, this one came out on the 27th of October.
Okay, cool.
And I really, really, really hope that he's gonna write another one. Like I hope next October he will release another one, because the first 3 are so fantastic. So I'm just like fingers crossed that this isn't the last outing, and I don't think it will be, because he's added a new character called Sammy, who's the spooky blog post guy. He's a really nice addition to like the friendship group. So I really hope this isn't the last one.
I can't imagine it will be. I feel like I've heard lots of good things about the book and lots of hype, and it seems to continue for all 3. So hopefully we'll get to write another one. But you never know, do you? Awesome. Well done, Dustin. Getting into your stride. I mean, I don't know what time zone you're in, but we are sort of winding down. But if you're kind of getting into yours, that's really good. Very good. Nice productive sprints.
You will for sure finish that today, Libby. Like,
yeah, that's really cool. I read very little, and my book is really good too. I've only read a few pages of it, but editing, and then I started doing a bit of cross stitch while Wednesday was on, because I like to try and multitask and get a few things ticked off. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to wind it up there because I can just feel myself rambling. And I really appreciate you coming on last minute, Lizzie. Sorry, were you going to say something?
before we go, do you want to help me pick out what I'm going to read next?
Yeah, okay, let's do
it. So I have this for a book club. So it's A Closed and Common Orbit by Becky Chambers, which is the second in the Long Way to a Small Angry Planet series. I've got Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner, which is a It's about a Korean American who is, it's like a memoir type thing. I've got a Beauty and the Beast retelling called The Beast Within, which is Serena Valentino. It's like their Disney retelling things. I have Hare House, which I've had for ages, which is a thriller. I've got The Summer We Forgot, which is also another thriller. I've got Cackle by Rachel Harrison, which is Sapphic Witches. I've got You May Now Kill the Bride by R.L. Stein. The Spirit Engineer by A.G. West. This one I can't read, unfortunately, because I'm doing a buddy read of it. So, which I really want to read this one, but I can't. Hex Life, which is a short story collection of witches. And look what's here, Camilla.
Yay. Okay, so I would, based on just my knowledge, I would go with Carmilla or Cackle, just because I haven't read Cackle. However, I have heard that it's brilliant, and I've read some other Rachel Harrison and really liked them. And you said Sapphic Witches, so I feel like it kind of ticked 2 boxes immediately. So yeah, that was my initial instincts. I have read Don't Kill the Bride, if that's what it's called, a long time ago, and it was just kind of your typical fun R.L. Stein book. So if you want one of those, you could also throw that into the mix. But yeah, those are the 3 that stood out to me. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll do Camilla next then, and then I'll move on to Cackle, which I think will be like a really cozy, nice read anyway. But no, Camilla will be a read.
I reckon knowing you'll read that in one go probably, because it's that kind of book. Like, I read it over a couple of days of like car journeys and short snippets when I had minutes. But yeah, I reckon read that quickly.
I think it's absolutely like stunning as well. And like, I love that it's basically the original vampire book. And also there is sapphic undertones for this.
Not just undertones. I mean, it's quite discreet because of the time period, but it's less discreet than I expected it to be, if that makes sense. It's quite bold.
Which makes sense, because obviously Dracula, I always think it's a love story. Because
me too, like, completely.
You read about so many things, and I'm like, this is definitely an obsession story. Love that. But I'm really excited to get into this. I know there's an audiobook version, but I've been warned against it because there are some very interesting sound choices, which the undertones, there's only undertones because of the time period. In the audiobook, it gets real uncomfy real quick. Quite a lot of like moaning and stuff. So I've been told just to read it. So
I think if you just read it, you're probably going to impose your own kind of imagination on it to whatever level you want to anyway. So
luckily the text is an okay size, because sometimes with classic it really like gives me a headache reading them, but this is one of the ones that seems to be an okay size.
Yeah, the chapters are pretty short as well, which again in classics it makes my heart sink when I look and it's like a 70-page chapter or something. So yeah, that's definitely manageable. I mean, the whole book's really short, isn't it?
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thank you very much. Now I can let you close down your sprint. Sorry.
It's fine. Well, I think everybody else is kind of already winding down because the comments have gone quiet too. So I feel like I can safely say goodnight without a flurry of comments coming in. So thanks again, Lizzie, for joining me at late notice. I had a few messages of people, a couple of other friends were going to join me, but couldn't make it. So I'm glad you were able to at the last minute.
Well,
thank you, everybody.
I wasn't doing anything, so thank you for giving me something to do.
Oh, no, it's fine. Anytime. And yes, thank you everyone for watching, and we will hopefully see you at another sprint. I will be back on next Thursday. I've already lined up at least one person, so hopefully there'll be some more people to chat to, and we can get some more writing and reading done together. So see you next week. Bye.
Bye.